Happy Friday, everyone. Brian Altano here, and in today's gaming news, 2020's The Last of Us Part 2 might already be getting a remaster, layoffs have hit Telltale Games again, and a bakery made a Last of Us clicker entirely out of bread. Let's get into it. Presented by Pringles. A remaster of The Last of Us Part 2 may have leaked today via the LinkedIn account of a lead outsourced artist at Naughty Dog. Mark Pajarillo, an artist who worked on last year's The Last of Us Part 1, a remastered version of 2014's The Last of Us Remastered, which was a remaster of the original 2013 version of The Last of Us, stated that he's working on The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered in a now deleted post, and I am sorry for dumping that gigantic mess of a paragraph on you on a Friday, but you can blame Naughty Dog for that one. The Last of Us Part 2 was originally released for PS4 in 2020, months before the PS5 launched that fall, and then received an official PS5 patch in March 2021, but it might now be getting a full remastered version for PS5, and yep, once again, that's another very confusing paragraph. Mark's LinkedIn page stated that he was responsible for overseeing the production of all outsourced environment art assets, weapons, and interactive props for two iconic titles, The Last of Us Part 1 and The Last of Us 2 Remastered. He has now deleted the mention of The Last of Us 2 Remastered, and although his page did reference two iconic titles and only listed one, well, it has since been updated to only reference Part 1. Anyway, would you play a remaster of The Last of Us Part 2, even though it already runs great on your PS5? And if so, would you pay $70 for it like The Last of Us Part 1 cost when it came to PS5? Or will you hold off for a remaster of The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, which will probably come out in a few years? Or maybe you would like a remake of The Last of Us Part 1 Remastered, or possibly a remaster of HBO's hit show The Last of Us, based on the Naughty Dog game The Last of Us, or The Last of Us Remastered. Let me know in the comments below, and stay tuned to IGN's upcoming list, the top 100 remasters of The Last of Us. Moving on, Telltale Games has once again laid off most of its workers, and if that sounds familiar, it's because the studio already did that in 2018 when it laid off a significant number of employees before closing entirely in 2019, only to re-emerge a year later, hiring a number of its former workers as well. Telltale has confirmed that it has undergone layoffs in a statement sent to IGN, but did not confirm the number or extent, stating, "Due to current market conditions, we regrettably had to let some of our Telltale team go recently. We did not take this action lightly, and our commitment to storytelling and finding new ways to do so remains the same. We are grateful to everyone for their dedication along this journey, and we are working to support everyone impacted. All projects currently in development are still in production, and we have no further updates at this time." Now, at the Game Awards in 2019, Telltale announced it was working on a sequel to The Wolf Among Us for a planned release in 2023. Earlier this year, IGN sat down with Telltale CEO Jamie Otley, who explained the game was being delayed due to struggles porting it from Unreal Engine 4 to 5 and a desire to avoid crunch. It does not currently have a new release date. Now, while 2023 has been an undeniably awesome year for video games, it's also been an absolute bloodbath for game developers, and these layoffs come as part of an ongoing trend of industry mass layoffs that have impacted a number of major studios this year and last. Now, these include layoffs at Naughty Dog, Team 17, Ascendant, Blizzard, BioWare, Epic Games, Blackbird Interactive, Striking Distance, BioWare again, Ubisoft, Scavenger Studios, CD Projekt Red, Embracer Groups, numerous subsidiaries, Deviation Games, The Molasses Flood, Relic Entertainment, Xbox, Riot Games, Unity, and so many more. My heart goes out to everyone impacted by these layoffs, and I hope you land on your feet and get back to making awesome games that we all love very soon. And I also hope the billionaire CEOs at the top of all these companies get a stomach virus that lasts an eternity. And finally, and there's really no great way to transition this, but speaking of viruses you can put in your stomach, a bakery named One House Bakery in Benicia, California, has created a life-size clicker from The Last of Us made entirely out of bread, aptly named The Last of Crust. Yeah, all right. Sure, why not? The mother and daughter duo, who apparently are both big fans of the HBO show, spent over 400 hours creating this bread-dead zombie monster and plan to submit it in a local scarecrow contest, which is weird because the last I checked, crows love bread because they are birds. Like that, it seems like the fastest way to get a bird on something rather than scare them away is to make it entirely out of bread. And the whole point of scarecrows is just scare stuff away. So I don't know if like it's a functional scarecrow contest or if it's just how they look. I don't know if they're gonna unleash birds there, and if the birds get scared and go away, then that person wins. Because I feel like if a bunch of crows land on your thing and they eat you, then you should lose a scarecrow contest. But if it looks cool and if it's just based on that, then then maybe you should win. And anyway, this is not the first Pedro Pascalations show that One House Bakery has made a life-size bread person based on, as the bakery also made a Pandalorian and a Baby Yoda for, you guessed it, the hit show The Mandalorian, featuring Baby Yoda. All right, I often try and make sense of this job where I stand in an expensive professional video recording studio and deliver news about edible bread men, and then I find that the more I think about it, the more confusing it gets. So I will simply say thank you for watching us here at IGN. We do like that you're here, and the least we can do is entertain you, and we hope that you watch us a grain. That last one physically hurt me. And that just about wraps us up for today's episode. I want to keep doing it. Of the Daily Fix. It's getting toasty in here and it's past my bread time. So I'm going to stop loafing around and say good rye for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.